Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you, Senator Shoemaker. Senator Groney, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'm amazed that the fiscal office only has 9 employees. I haven't checked into it, but I'm also we would find to be amazed that if we checked that the access we have to the fiscal office, to Tom and Mike and the rest of them as senators, I can walk in that office and ask where Tom at Berquist is and go sit in his office and debate him for 10 minutes on certain issues of budgeting, statutes, property taxes. I wonder how many other states we can do that. The senators can do that. Those 9 individuals do amazing work, and a lot of it. Some of us aren't CPAs. Most of us aren't. Most of us are businessmen. Some of us aren't. We understand 2 sides of a ledger. They present their information in that type of format, that we can all understand. The language is good. It's understandable. That said, I do not want to alienate them, but it would be nice to have a little bit more notice. And I support Senator Haar's Rule 5, Section 7, if Senator Stenner's amendments are adopted. Because, you know, it is frustrating. You work on a bill for a very long time, if you do it right. You look at all the crannies and crevices and try to make sure it's correct. And then 24 hours before you have to testify and present your bill, you get a fiscal note. Your staff has no time to double check the numbers, to come up with counter debate on what those numbers are. And then you're sitting in committee saying, well, I'll try to amend this and maybe we can look at this. And you're fumbling through it trying to figure out what the fiscal note's all about. That's not good government either. So I would like to see a compromise on this, that the fiscal office still can prioritize what they work on in emergency situations. I do not like the word expedite, but give us a little bit more time. And I like the idea that you can take a bill to them in the summertime and get your fiscal note ahead of time. Maybe they got more time to fit it in. Totally amazed that they can start the budget process with a new appropriations chair and turn out 667 fiscal notes over the next 3 months, 2 months. A lot gets done in that office. The lights are on late and early in the morning. So I stand in support of Rule 5, Section 7, if amendment by Senator Stenner are adopted. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Senator Groney. Seeing no one wishing to speak, Senator Stenner, you're welcome to close on your floor amendment to Rule 3.
Mr. President. Thank you, Mr. President. Members of the legislature, just very shortly, we're trying to give fiscal office the longitude and latitude to make decisions about their workload. Expedite seems to be something that means your request goes to the top of the stack. So we're just giving fiscal a chance to manage that workload. I would hope that everybody understands the expertise that is in that fiscal office and the quality of product that they produce. And I would appreciate your green vote.
Thank you, Senator Stenner. The question before us is to adopt the floor amendment to rule change number 3 by Senator Stenner. All those in favor vote aye. All those opposed vote nay. Have all voted that wish to? Please record, Mr. Clerk.
38 ayes, no nays, Mr. President, on the adoption of Senator Stenner's amendment to proposed rules change number 3.
The motion to adopt the amendment is approved. Returning to discussion on rule change number 3. Senator Chambers, you're recognized.
Thank you. Mr. President, members of the legislature, even though I have made the points, some of them that I wanted to on the subject that was of more pressing concern to me than this rule change, it appears to me that there is enough concern, enough uncertainty about the impact of what this change will bring about. The better part of wisdom might be to leave status quo, status quo. That's just the opinion of one who has listened and not participated. I want to wrap up what I was saying about the judiciary and a comment I was making toward the very end. I don't like to leave hanging threads, hanging chads, or anything left unsaid that ought to be said. And when I raise an issue, I'm prepared to fight it to the mat. And I'm concerned about the image of the legislature. We have what is called a point of personal privilege in the rules. And the first and highest point of personal privilege is when the reputation of the body is at stake. I don't have to do it on a point of personal privilege because I'm going to do it in the ordinary course and flow of events here in the legislature. I'm going to continue to talk about what the integrity of this legislature should be, how important it is. Shakespeare wrote words to the effect, "Who steals my purse steals trash. Who robs me of my good name renders me poor indeed." For some of us, our word means something. Reputation means something. Integrity is not just a word in the dictionary. I have collected articles on women who have been publicly shamed by the misdeeds of their husbands in public office. I'm going to hand some of those articles out. Those men had the decency or the common sense to resign. By coincidence or happenstance, most of them were Republicans. I don't know if lowlifes join the Republican Party because they feel it's a haven of refuge, or if they become lowlifes after joining. That is of no concern to me, and I don't have to resolve that because I don't belong to any party, any faction, any church, any organization, and certainly not anybody. Here's something that I put together after I made that comment. Publicly shamed wives ever must hone a facial expression as rigid as stone. You don't see wives betraying the marriage vow and a husband standing next to that wife supporting her. She becomes a tramp, she becomes a hoe, or as what you all would call a whore, a trollop, a skank. There are more degrading words for women than any other entity other than black people. Men don't run into that. There ought to be, and if Borglum was still alive today and I had the money, I would commission him to do it if those who are in charge of Mount Rushmore would allow it. To put another face up there with the 4 stone faces now. Jefferson, Teddy, George, and Abe. This would be the stone face that the woman, the wife who has been betrayed publicly, that expression that she must maintain.